Jai Hind everyone. Myself Pooja Pandey, Assistant Professor in the MCA department in Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College. Today I am going to discuss a very important topic that we are mainly focuses on, that is our introduction to the algorithm analysis. In this presentation or in this lecture, I'm going to cover the topics, that is what do you mean by the algorithm analysis, why analysis is required, and what is the time complexity. The main problem which the student mainly get to the point, that how we are going to calculate the time complexity. Then what is asymptotic analysis, what is asymptotic notation, and we will discuss the three types of the asymptotic notation in this lecture. Now, when we are discussing that algorithm analysis, why we need that algorithm? What do you mean by the algorithm analysis? See, algorithm analysis is basically a basic, or you can say is a most fundamental part of the computational complex theory, because it provides a theoretical estimation of the time and space resources an algorithm needs to solve a computational problem, right? It means that when we are analyzing as an algorithm, it doesn't mean that simply we are writing the algorithm or simply we are using the algorithm. We are using the algorithm which needs less time and less space. And what do you mean by the time and space here? We will discuss in the further slides. Mainly, see, the analysis of the algorithm, or you say algorithm analysis, it receives more attention when we are receives more attention than the memory, because any program that uses a huge amount of the memory automatically requires more time, and that we are going to discuss with an example in the further slide. Then next question comes, that why we need the analysis. We need the analysis of the algorithm because predicting the behavior of an algorithm without implementing, that is a very right. When we are writing the algorithm, we should be able, because of the analysis, we can be able to predict the behavior before implementing, right? Now, analysis is just an approximation, right? There are certain factors according to which we analyze the algorithms, and that influencing factors can be varied. So basically it help us to determine the best algorithm to solve the programming problem. See, for a simple program, there are many n times of the algorithms. In that n times of the algorithm, we have to select, or we have to choose which one is the best algorithm, and that we can be discussed by the, that we can choose it by the, when we are doing the algorithm analysis. So that is the main thing, that why we need the analysis algorithm. We need it because it determines the best algorithm to solve the programming, because there are certain numbers, or you can say n numbers of the algorithms for a simple problem. Then next question comes, that what is time complexity? Our student faces a lot of problem, that what is time complexity? See, in a simple language, if I say that time complexity is a way how your algorithm runs as a size of the input. As for example, if we are doing certain program, we are inputting certain values, n values, and how much we are increasing the values of the n as our input is growing, the how our algorithm is running fast. Or you can say it is a measure of rate of change in time with respect to change in the input size. So when we are discussing about the time complexity, we are depending upon the size of the input. As the size of the input grow, we are calculating how our algorithm is running fast, right? Now, a simple analogy can be understood by this example, that for example, you are imagining a burgers, flipping up the burgers, right? What we eat. If you flip one burger, you will take 1 second, 1 minute or 1 second. And if you flip 10 burgers, you will need the 10 minutes, or you can say 10 seconds, right? So as a time, you can say that as a time taken grows with the number of burgers, as the number of burgers are increasing, its time is also increasing. As the number of the burgers are increasing, the time is also grows. That is why when we are going to say, and this diagram, you can say that how it is growing like in the linear way. It is in the linear way. Systematically, it is going one by in a same speed it is growing, or in the same speed it is increasing, right? So our time complexity will be big O of n, and that is a linear time, right? So you can understand how much time a one input is saying, and similar if we are increasing the size of the input at the same speed, the time will be exceeding, and that will be in the linear form, right? This is in the linear form. If it is like going like this, then it will not be in the linear form. But if you see the graph, it is going in the horizontal in the vertical direction in a very smooth speed. That's why our time complexity will be big O of n, that is in the linear time. Or we can say that in the simple language, the time complexity tell us how time grows as a problem get bigger. So it helps us to pick the best algorithm when we are discussing about the speed, right? Now, before discussing how we are calculating the time complexity, there are certain important points that we should discuss while analyzing the algorithm. See, the speed, a simple program, what we are running in the machine 1, you can say that we are running there are two types of the machine 1 and the machine 2. Now, these two machines will take different time for the same program when we are discussing. So, while calculating the time complexity, we never discuss about the hardware or whatever the instruction set, or you say the compiler transition. The speed can vary from machine to machine. That's why this point is not considered when we are calculating the time complexity. Now, the execution time of one machine and the other machine, they both are differ. They are not same. For example, what program I am running in my laptop and the same program you are running in your laptop, their execution time will not be same, or you cannot say they are not same. They vary from machine to machine. So we are not considering we are not comparing the time complexity, or you can say we are not calculating that between the two machines. Now, again, the compiler behavior as the program our compile, it also differ from system to system, and that's why it affects our time accuracy. The compiler behavior of one machine will be different, and the compiler behavior of the second machine will be different from the other one. That's why our time accuracy, or you can say our time will be vary from one machine to the other. Now, main focus is on the frequency count of the operation. How much a simple operation, it's how much time to cover. For example, we are considering the main part is that is your frequency count of an operation, not the actual runtime, right? We are comparing, we calculate the time complexity with the help of your frequency count, and that we can understand by the further examples. Now, if I discuss before discussing how we are going to calculate the time complexity, there are certain example I have taken in this PPT that how there are some common time complexity with the example. So how we are taking? See, the first one is big O of 1. That means constant. For example, if you look up the name, if you in your contact number by the number, what is it? Constantly it is taking the same time. So that's why the time complexity is big O of 1. Now, big O of log n, that is your logarithm. It means that when you are finding the word in a dictionary, you are using a problem, you are using an algorithm that we called as the binary search. And as we know, in binary search, we normally divide the value by n by 2. We divide the value by 2. So when we are dividing a input value by 2, our time complexity will be the big O of log n, and that will be the logarithm, right? Now, when we are discussing about the linear, when we are reading a book, in the shelf one by one. For example, one book, two book, one book, one book, two book, three book, four book. Now we are reading one by one like this. So if you see that it is going like in the linear terms, right? So that's why our time complexity will be the big O of n. Now, when we are comparing each students with the every other, for example, we are comparing student number A student with the B, C, D, E and other student or all the classes one by one, that will be your quadratic, that is your big O of n square. Now, when we are checking the every possible password of the length, right? When we are checking every possible length or we are checking the probability, then our time complexity will be big O of 2 की power n, right? Now, we will discuss how we are going to calculate all these things by one, right? For this, there are certain steps. Now, how to calculate the input time? Because the first size is we have to understand the input size. Whatever the input size of a given array is given in the n element, we have to check that what is the input size, because we know that time complexity depend upon how the time grows with n increases, right? Now, step 2, we will see whatever the problem is given, we will see that loops. Loop usually decide how many times something run, right? If you see, this is a simple program where input size is 5 and it will decide your this input. If n is, here it is 5, I less than is equals to 5. So, you know how much your loop will run starting from 0 to 5 times, right? So, that if you are seeing that linearly we are growing or we are moving one by one our this program, this algorithm. So, that's why our this time complexity is linearly with the input size, because first the I is equals to 0, then I is equals to 1, then I is equals to 2. Likewise, this it will go to the end point till I less than equals to 5, right? So, we will see that the time is growing as the input size is growing and this growth is going by the linearly, okay, in a linear form. That's why our time complexity, we will say that it is a big O of n. So, basically, when you are calculating the time complexity in a loop, you have to see the input size and you have to see the loop, how much time it is growing, right? Now, the third, but when we are giving in a program, we are giving a nested loop, then what will be their size? See, this is a simple program again. Now, this is your outer loop, this is your inner loop, and this outer loop you are saying that it is running by n time, right? And in the inner loop you are saying again j is less than equals to n, right? So, if you are saying that outer loop runs your n times, inner loop runs for n time for your, you are saying for the j is equals to 0 for each I, right? Inner loop is running for each I. That's why for first it is n, second it is n times, first one is n time. Now, what will be the time complexity? It will be the n square. That's why here for the nested loop, our time complexity is always big O of n square, right? Now, the step 4, that is halving the input, that is your binary search. Why we are taking the logarithm value? When our input size is I is equals to n and we are dividing it by 2, that is we are making it in the binary style, or we are each time our high is becoming half. So, what does it mean? It means that log base 2n that times. So, our time complexity will be the big O of log n. So, you have to keep in mind when our input size is divided by 2, that is in the binary form, our time complexity is always big O of log n. Now, when we are discussing about this step 5, that is your multiple loops, not the nested. I am discussing the multiple loops. See, here one loop is here, second loop is here, right? So, what will be there? It is running n time again it is running n time, right? So what will be the there? N plus n, that is equals to 2n. And in calculating the time complexity, we always neglect the constant. So that's why our time complexity will be big O of n. Why we are not taking the n square? Because they are not nested. They are a multiple loops. They are separate loops, right? That's why we are taking n plus n. And when it is a multiple, it is a nested loop, we simply take n square, right? Now, when we are discussing about the nested with the different range, here you see there are our loops which has got a different range. Here it is I less than equals to n, and here it is j less than equals j less than I. So inner loop totally depending upon which factor, it is depending upon I. So that's why we will take it as n into n minus 1 upon 2, right? And if we calculate n minus 1 by 2, so we will find out n square upon 2 minus n upon 2. And according to the time complexity rule, we will discard this one and this one. So our final answer will be n square. That means our time complexity will be big O of n square, right? Now, what are the key rules to remember? If you forgot how to calculate, there are certain key rules to remember. That what do you mean by how you are going to calculate, or how simply you can write down that what is the time complexity of the specific program. So when your loop is running from 0 to n, your time complexity will be big O of n. Why? Because it is running in the linear form. When your loop is nested, that is n inside n, your time complexity will be big O of n square. Now, when your loop is dividing into the n input, then its value will be big O of log, right? When there are 3 time nested loop, your time complexity will be big O of n cube. And when the constant work is going on, simply your time complexity will be big O of 1. So, see, this is very simple how to calculate the time complexity. Now, we are coming on the point, that is what do you mean by the asymptotic analysis. That is also a very simple terms I want to explain in a very simple manner so that you can understand that what do you mean by the asymptotic analysis. See, you have understood what do you mean by the time complexity. You have understood that why we need the analysis of the algorithm. So, what do you mean by, or what is asymptotic analysis? See, asymptotic analysis help us to find out how fast an algorithm grows when our input sizes become very large, right? When input size is very large, how our algorithm is very fast. In this, we never care about the exact timing. We only care about your growth rate. Why we are using the asymptotic analysis, or why it is required? Because in different machine, different codes run at the different speed, right? Or you can say in the different computer, we are running the same code at the different speed. So, instead of counting of the second, we are count steps, or you can say we count the operations. We are not counting the time. We are calculating the number of steps or number of the operation. So, when we are comparing, or we are finding out with the help of this, we can find out the asymptotic notation. Now, what does the asymptotic analysis help? It helps to compare which algorithm is faster in the long run, because we are calculating it by the number of steps, or you can say the number of operations. Now, mainly there are the 3 basic notations. The slide gives us the basic idea. The big 3 notations are the big O of O, that is omega, and the theta. Now, big O of means that it is a worst case. How slow can it get, right? How slow our program is, or how slow our algorithm is. So, that's why we are calculating and we are denoting it. Now, when we are discussing about the omega represent the best case time, how fast it can be. And theta represent the average, or you can say the tau bind, that is in between the big O and the omega. And before starting the asymptotic notation, I must clear that we always calculate the big O of O in the algorithm, because we are mainly dealing with the worst case, right? We are not, because we know that omega and theta represent our best and the average case, and it will take that much amount of time. But we are calculating the worst case so that our algorithm can be improved more and more ways, so that it can be in the best case, right? Now, before discussing the asymptotic notation, we should know that what do you mean by the word asymptote. Asymptote means that approaching a value or a curve arbitrarily closely, right? If you see this graph, this curve is growing like this, right? And asymptote is this. We are, see this dotted line, if you see that this dotted line, this is the asymptote, because it is going with the curve, but it is not touching that curve at any time. So this curve is said to be asymptotic, and that is why it is called asymptote to the C. Now, three notation again, that is big O of notation, omega notation and the theta notation. Your big O notation provide the upper bound, right? And it represent the worst case. Now, your omega notation represent the lower bound and it represent the best case. Theta represent the both, because it is an average. That's why it is in between the upper bound and the lower bound, right? Now, when we are discussing about the big O of notation, there is a certain definition. First, we discuss that assuming function f of n and g of n are non-negative integers. This is, if you see that, this f of n and g of n, they are the two non-negative notation, where f of n is equals to big O of g of n, right? If and only if f of n is less than equals to c dot gn for all values of n, where n is greater than equals to n0 and c and n0 are constant. What does it mean? That if you see that this value, see, function of n is here, and if you see that g of constant g of n, it is going upward, right? It is not below the f of n, basic function f of n. It is in the upward direction, right? So that means that it is our worst case when the, and this here it is a point that it is representing the n0. Now this is this terminology, this you say big O of g of n, that is your tight upper bound of your f of n. So that is a big O of n. So by the diagram, it is very clear that it is representing the worst case. Why? Because we see that our function g of n is going at the above side, right, of the function n. It is going the above side. That's why it is a worst case. Now, when we are discussing the omega, or you say big omega notation, mainly it represents the lower bound. See where our function of n there, the g of n is at the upper, and here in the diagram you will see that c dot gn is at the lower bound. That's why we are saying it is a lower bound, and it is going below the function of n. That's why it is a tight lower bound, and that's why it is representing as a best of best case, right? And here you can see, identify this f of n is greater than equals to c of gn. That's why it is f of n, g is n. That's why it is f of n is equals to big omega g of n. And this why it is known as a tight lower bound ground of the function of n. Now, theta notation. In the theta notation by diagram, I am coming directly, that is your this equation. If you see this f of n of n, first one c1 dot gn, one function, c2 dot gn, they are the, it is representing the worst case, it is representing the best case. Now between these two, it is our theta notation. We are finding out the average of between these two functions. That's why it is known as a theta notation, right? So in this presentation, we have discussed how we are going to analyze the algorithms and what is why we are analyzing the algorithm, or what is the need of the analyzing of the algorithm. Then we have discussed the time complexity, how to calculate the time complexity. We have also discussed that what do you mean by the asymptote word, what is the meaning of the word asymptote, then what do you mean by the asymptotic notation, and what are the three types of the asymptotic notation we are discussing. So thank you all, and we will look for